it's Natasha of NatashasKitchen.com, and today I'm gonna teach you how to make our all-time favorite, best ever cinnamon rolls. These are fluffy, big, and you're gonna love the frosting on these. So let's get started. In a large mixing bowl, or you can use a stand mixer, combine 1 cup of warm milk that should be about 110 to 115 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'll link this thermometer that we love. Sprinkle the top with 2 1/4 teaspoons or 1 packet of instant yeast. Add 1 large egg, room temperature, 4 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of melted butter, and half a teaspoon of salt. Whisk that together, then add 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and make sure to measure this correctly. Don't miss our video on how to measure dry and wet ingredients for great results every time. Use a firm spatula or a wooden spoon to stir that together. Add more flour, about a tablespoon at a time, just until the dough is no longer sticking to your fingertips or the walls of the bowl. It should still feel slightly sticky to the touch, but it won't stick to clean and dry fingertips. Knead the dough by hand for about 3 minutes, and again, it'll feel sticky while you're kneading it, but when you poke it with a clean and dry finger, it won't stick. Cover the top with plastic wrap and let that rise in a warm oven at about 100 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes, or you can leave it at room temperature for an hour. The dough should double in size. Alright, that's puffed up beautifully. Now we're going to generously dust a clean work surface with flour. Turn the dough out onto the floured surface and sprinkle the top with just a little bit of flour, enough to keep a rolling pin from sticking to it. Roll the dough into an even 17 by 10 inch rectangle. And I do double check the size and straighten out the edges so that there's no waste. Next, dot the top of the dough with 6 tablespoons of softened butter. I found that dotting the butter on top makes it much easier to spread around evenly. And spread the butter all the way to the edges of the dough. It seems like a lot of butter, but it makes these cinnamon rolls so soft. To make the cinnamon sugar, combine a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar with 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. Stir that together, then sprinkle the entire amount over your buttered surface. Be generous and make sure you use all of the cinnamon sugar. Roll the dough up, starting with one of the longer sides, and work in a typewriter motion. Keep a tight roll as you go. And you can brush away any excess flour that's on the back of the dough. Keep moving in that back and forth motion until the dough is all rolled up. Push the ends of the dough in slightly to make them a little more uniform in size, then slice into 12 equal pieces. And I'm just using my food scraper to cut these. This is a super useful tool, and I will link to it in the notes. Try to keep each slice the same size so that they rise evenly. Generously butter the bottom and sides of a 9 by 13 casserole dish with a tablespoon of butter. Arrange the cinnamon rolls in the buttered dish with the cut side up, keeping them evenly spaced. Cover the top with plastic wrap and let them rise in a warm 100 degree Fahrenheit oven for about 20 to 30 minutes, or keep them at room temperature for 50 to 60 minutes, or until they're puffed. You never want to heat it more than 100 degrees Fahrenheit, or it will deactivate the yeast and won't rise properly. You can see those have puffed up beautifully. Now we're going to brush the top with a tablespoon of melted butter, then bake in a preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit on the center rack for 22 to 24 minutes, or until the tops are lightly golden. Let those cool in the pan for 15 minutes while you make your frosting. We want to glaze these while they're still warm but not hot. This cream cheese icing is so simple. Combine 4 tablespoons of softened butter with 4 ounces of cream cheese and beat those together with an electric hand mixer until smooth. Next, beat in half a tablespoon of vanilla extract. And last but not least, add 1 cup of powdered sugar, then continue mixing on high speed for about 3 to 4 minutes or until your frosting is fluffy. Scrape down the bowl as needed to make sure your frosting is completely smooth. Our cinnamon rolls have been cooling for about 15 minutes and they're still warm, which is perfect. That's when you want to put on the frosting. You want some of it to melt into the cinnamon rolls. Oh, every last bit of frosting on these because this frosting is so good. Oh. Okay, we're gonna get right into this taste test because these are best when they're warm and gooey and just melt in your mouth. Okay, here we go. Going for the big one. They're all big. Notice how big and poofed these get. Oh. Where one is perfectly satisfying. Look at that. Okay, and I want to break into this because I want to show you what's inside and take a look at the texture of these. They're so fluffy, super soft. Oh, and they just melt in your mouth. Okay, we're gonna get a little messy. That's okay, because you guys need to see this. I'm gonna be licking my fingers when we're done. Oh my goodness, look at this. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, here we go. Wowee. They are moist, layer after layer of that cinnamon sugar. These are incredible. Soft, fluffy, melt in your mouth perfection. And these are so good for the holidays, so save this recipe for your special occasions. But it's also simple enough to make any day of the week because there's such little active time, easy ingredients. Now I have to tell my kids the cinnamon rolls are ready and they're gonna come running. Keeping it on the down low for now because they love these. Who can resist a homemade cinnamon roll? If you guys enjoy homemade bakery quality treats, check out some of our all-time favorite recipes right over there and right down there. And before you go, make sure you click below to subscribe, and when you do, click that little bell icon so you'll get notifications every single time we post a new recipe. We'll see you next time.